I'm going to be honest with you and say that I do not feel like going above and beyond in language learning anymore at this point, for right now. And I feel like there's this constant pressure, hyper focus on excellence in language learning. And we see that all around us in the marketing, right? To be the most productive, to be the fastest at learning a language, or having the best perfect accent, even though people don't outright say it, there's always like a hidden expectation that you are supposed to go above and beyond, like give your 100% effort to language learning all the time. And I invite you to actually, in this video, challenge yourself to not go above and beyond all the time, right? Because that's nearly impossible for us as human beings. And I have definitely met my limits more than once on thinking, that I can give my all and do all of these like very high energy tasks and learning languages. And, even I think last year when I was planning out this year of my language learning study and thinking, I'm going to go to 2 intensive language learning schools. Both of them are going to be for about 3.5 months. And I am going to study languages for like 4 hours a day, plus any other extra hours that I can dedicate to the languages outside of class. And then I'm also going to, pass a C1 exam in Spanish. It's just been a really big drain on my energy, even though I've enjoyed a lot of parts of it too. And at the same time, not all of it has been fulfilling. And definitely, even though I think the majority of language learners would say, you went all out, like you gave 100% to your language learning this year. I just know that I was in a very manic period. Like I was having I feel like manic episode of planning out my whole year being abroad because I had been stuck in the same place where I didn't resonate, where I was living with people I was living with that I wasn't connecting to, right? And I couldn't wait to go out and just give my all, my go above and beyond effort to language learning this year. And I'm just, as I said before, I'm just done with it for right now. And here's where I'm going to talk about the language seasons and the importance of really keeping those at the forefront of our minds whenever we do feel like, hey, I'm making a lot of progress. I'm wondering how I'm going to, sustain my progress, or I'm really scared about maybe this life event that is going to take away more time from the time that I could dedicate to language learning. That means, I'm not going to make as much progress, I'm not going to improve as fast, etc. Anytime we have that sort of fear in ourselves, anytime we think, I can't go above and beyond anymore in my language learning, what's going to happen to me, right? Nothing is going to happen to you. We go through the cycle, not the linear line where there's like an end and a beginning, right? There's a cycle that applies to every single language learner, no matter if we know, 20 languages or we're just starting a new language from scratch, right? We might be in a fast progress season, which is where we see a lot of improvement in a very short time. And it's most likely that YouTubers, even some of the videos that I've posted about learning a language faster, I was in a fast progress season when I posted those. And I bet the other YouTubers that I've also seen that have talked about their own language learning experience, improving really fast, they were also in the fast progress season. But then every sort of language learner must go through a restorative rest season, where maybe they don't even do anything with the language and they step back from it. Because I'm going to tell you, with fast progress, even though the pro is that you do see fast improvement, the con is definitely that it is not sustainable. And it's not sustainable for forever for anyone, absolutely anyone, because again, we all are fully rounded humans. We all have different activities, different hobbies. There's a lot of factors that can slip us into not giving our all and going above and beyond in language learning anymore for a certain period of time, right? So you might be in a restorative rest season there, where you really take a step back from the language and you take a break for however long that needs to be according to your life circumstance and your own energy. Then you have the third and final cycle, that is steady growth. When I am simply maintaining a language, or I have greatly reduced my activities that I do on a weekly basis in order to improve my languages. And I know that I will be slipping more into a steady growth season for next year because I won't be doing any sort of language schools. I'm kind of really happy about that actually. But steady growth is con. Well, con, if you do see it as a con, right, that you improve at a slower pace than you would have if you were in a fast progress stage. But the pro that is overshadowing all of this in a really positive way is that this stage is actually sustainable, whereas fast progress is not. And I think in a steady growth stage, one of the stages that I've really learned to enjoy, even though it has been frustrating in the past to think, oh my gosh, like in the past, like I was improving a lot and now I'm not improving as much due to whatever factors might be going on in my personal life or whatever mindset blocks I might be dealing with. But I found that in this stage, I have been able to understand how I work best as a language learner, right? How can I be the most adaptable? Because I feel in this stage, it gives us way more room to play with how to make our routine the most sustainable for us, how to stay the most flexible when life events inevitably come up and we have to adjust our plans for our learning at any certain point, right? It can really challenge us to really increase, right, our capability of being adaptable and coming up with different definitions of what it means to stay consistent, right? It definitely doesn't have to mean every day if we don't want it to. What does it mean to be disciplined? What does it mean to feel joy in language learning? I feel in the fast progress stage, like I'm very focused on an end result. Even though I do, for the most part, enjoy the process, but I mean, everything just goes really fast. We build meaning from enjoying the process and really processing what going through that process means in the context of our full lives, right? And so I feel like I have less time to do that when I'm in a fast progress stage, and at least with a steady growth stage or in a restorative rest stage where I feel like I can finally take a breather, it is such a gift to just keep on exploring what it means to be me in my language. And again, I know that I will always have the opportunity to go into a fast progress stage again when I'm ready for it. If you are having sort of the same fears of not giving your all in language learning, that's okay. You're going to get into the fast progress stage again, I promise you. And any other language learning that you are comparing yourself to, they are also going to have to go through all of the same seasons, right? Maybe at different points, maybe for different lengths of time. I am, with this video, giving myself permission to not give 100% on some days for next year. And maybe not even give like 1% on some days. Sometimes my baseline for language learning is literally not doing anything because I need to rest my brain. People are going to maybe fight with me on that in the comments and say like, I don't think that you should tell people to not be consistent every day because then they're going to fall off and, not be disciplined and whatever. But one of the best ways to understand yourself as a language learner, if you really understand the balance for you personally between how much you need to stay consistent and disciplined in the traditional sense and how much rest is strategic for you in optimizing how disciplined and consistent you can be when you are fully on and you're ready to be productive and you're ready to do and go 100%, give your all, go above and beyond for your languages, right? There's a really delicate dance between the two, and I'm definitely talking about the latter with rest, right? You're doing your own version of 100%, and it is okay sometimes to step back. It is strategic for you to do so. Your value does not rely on the output you make in this life. It truly doesn't, and I'm saying that to you as much as I am to myself. You are here in this world to be you and to find your way back to yourself, especially with all of these set expectations that we build up in our adult lives that take us further away from the fulfillment and enjoyment that we can have in the learning process as we grow older. If showing up as the best version of you is giving less than 100%, then so be it. Honestly, the best thing that we can do as language learners is learn on our own terms. We won't ever give ourselves a chance to learn how we learn on our own terms if we don't ever give ourselves to step back and experiment with how we are as language learners when we aren't in a fast progress season anymore, when we aren't striving anymore to cling as much as we can to the fast progress season because we're afraid of failure in our language, right? It is okay to experiment and be in our restorative rest season and our steady growth season and see what kind of language learners we can evolve into so that we can be even more productive and know how we learn even better when we do reach a fast progress season again. I would love to know your thoughts on this video because I know that it's not something we normally talk about, but I would be very excited to hear your thoughts. Make sure to like and subscribe if you have not already, if you do enjoy more mindful and honest language learning content, and I'll see you in my next video soon.